Well, there it is, and sadly we'll never see this again. The space shuttle landing at the Kennedy Space Center bright and early this morning before sunrise. Atlantis and its 4 crew members touched down just before 6 a.m. Eastern Time, ending an era in spaceflight. Welcome back to the early show. I'm Chris Ragg along with Rebecca Jarvis. Erica Hill is off today. What an incredible sight, though. It never gets old.
It really doesn't.
After 30 years, and it was great to hear Commander Chris Ferguson say America is not going to stop exploring upon landing there.
That is a very important point, and it really is a bittersweet day here because on the one hand, thank goodness they're back, but for those who were part of this historic effort and the journalists who have long covered America's adventures in space, including CBS News space consultant Bill Harwood, who's covered it for 20 years, and he now joins us from the Kennedy Space Center, there is obviously a bittersweet sort of melancholy tone in the air, at least from our vantage point here, Bill, in New York. What's it like there?
You know, it really is like that. It's almost like a funeral. I hate to put it that way, but it's almost like the loss of a good friend for all the thousands of people that have worked on the space shuttle over the last 3 decades. Seeing Atlantis come down to this landing and close out the program is truly a bittersweet moment.
They say now that this is going to be a private venture going forward, Bill. How do people on the ground feel about that? Do they think that's a good idea? Do they think it's something that can really carry this thing forward with the same ferocity that it has been going with over these last 20 years?
Well, it's certainly not going to be at the same velocity. There's going to be a 3 to 5 year gap at best between the end of the shuttle and the debut of these commercial spacecraft you mentioned that will replace it. I don't think the people down here at the Space Center really so much regret losing the shuttle as it is the way the shuttle was lost. The fact that they've canceled the program without a vehicle ready to take its place to continue flights right away. You know, in that 3 to 5 year gap, U.S. astronauts are going to have to hitch rides to the space station with the Russians at about $60 million a seat, and that's something that simply doesn't sit very well among the men and women who care and feed the shuttle over all of these years. So I think there's some real disappointment about that, more than the fact that the shuttle itself is over.
Watching these launches captures the mind and imagination and hearts of so many. Bill, you've been covering this now for 20 years with CBS News. Is it always what you wanted to do?
It has been for a long time. You know, I was in college at the University of Tennessee, and I came down to cover the second shuttle launch for my school newspaper. And the sight of Columbia taking off, the roar, the fire and thunder, so struck me that I decided I wanted to be a space journalist and cover it full time. And I was lucky enough to come down and end up with United Press International and then finally with CBS News. It's been an incredible ride watching all of these missions. And like I've said before, it's not so much that I regret the passing of the shuttle, but we're sure going to miss it, miss all of that grandeur now that it's gone.
Well, Bill Harwood, you've done such a tremendous job over the years, and we appreciate your reporting, in particular on this launch. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Can echo that sentiment. Bill, wonderful job. Seriously, one of the best right there.
Fantastic.
We have been, it's been a privilege to have him on board here.